Anything happen in the news last night? That's right, folks. Canada elected a Liberal minority government. And my message for the newly elected MP for Carleton, I was not familiar with your game. But seriously, I genuinely did not think that Pierre Poilievre would lose the seat that he's held for more than 2 decades. But here we are. And before we get into that, let's talk about this result. The Liberals are set to form a minority government. And because I think it's very important that you see this, here is how Mark Carney celebrated last night. Some people are saying Phil Dunphy coded, and I'm not gonna pretend that I don't see it. Anyways, a minority government means in order to pass any legislation, the Liberals will need some votes from another party. But their minority is pretty strong. They're only gonna need 3 votes from another party to push their legislation over the finish line. And even the decimated NDP, which lost party status last night, can give them that. So the Liberals will be able to negotiation shop between all the parties except for the Greens because they only have 1 vote to give. Elizabeth May won her seat. Anyways, the mood at the Liberal Party last night during Carney's victory speech can only be described as jubilant as hell. The Libs were, as they say, libbing out. Especially one Carney fan in the audience. Take a listen.
The past. Values that I will to uphold.
But even Carney himself seemed to be in a little bit of a silly, goofy mood while he gave his speech, tossing out little dad jokes here and there.
We're not for, well, no, we're building now. We've gotten over that bit. And act bigger. Your phone's ringing. Sorry, just okay. All right. Just hang on. It's okay? Yeah. That might be important.
So a goofy, happy night for the Liberals, even if they didn't get the majority that some folks within the party were really hoping for. But in my view, one of the biggest stories of the night after the literal election result was the fact that the leader of the Conservatives lost in his own riding. Something Carney, in his silly, goofy mood last night, got in a little dig about before the riding had officially been called, saying in response to an audience member that he is, quote, looking forward to working with the Liberal running against Poilievre in the riding of Carleton, Bruce Fanjoy.
Bruce says, Bruce. And Bruce, yes, Bruce Fanjoy. I'm looking forward to working with Bruce Fanjoy.
And my God, Bruce actually did it. I genuinely didn't think this was possible given that Poilievre has held that riding for more than 20 years. But speaking before his riding was called last night, Pierre Poilievre made it clear he has no intention of stepping down.
It will be an honor to continue to fight for you and to be a champion of your cause as we go forward.
But again, Poilievre said that before he lost his seat. And while the Prime Minister doesn't have to have a seat in the House of Commons, according to the House of Commons procedure and practice, quote, to become the leader of the opposition, a person must hold a seat in the House of Commons. So to be able to stay on as leader, Poilievre would have to get one of his MPs to step down, and he'll have to run in a by-election. So we'll see if he decides to do that and what would happen there. Meanwhile, the knives are already out for Poilievre and have been since before last night. As we know, Doug Ford and Tim Houston, the progressive Conservative premiers for Ontario and Nova Scotia respectively, had some drama with the federal Conservatives. And last night, hot off the news of his re-election as an MP, Jamil Javani, who is besties with JD Vance, came out and attacked Doug Ford on CBC.
We didn't say anything. Federal party, we didn't get in his way. When it was our turn to run an election, he couldn't stay out of our business. Always getting his criticisms and all his opinions out, distracting our campaign, trying to make it about him, trying to position himself as some kind of political genius.
So we'll see whether any federal Conservative voices sharpen their knives to take down Poilievre, an attack that it feels like some of their provincial counterparts are already waging.
890 times?
There are 2 last things I want to mention about Poilievre's speech before I move on to talking about the NDP. First, he said 2 things in his speech last night that turned out to be false as the results shifted around. Like he said that he denied the NDP and the Liberals enough votes to form a coalition government. True at the time he spoke, not true today as the results have been all but locked in. Although I would be shocked if they went the route of forming a coalition. Mostly because of the other false thing that Poilievre said. He called the Liberal victory a, quote, razor-thin minority minority, which it really isn't. They're only 3 seats short of a majority. Beyond those 2 misleading statements, the other thing I want to point out is this pulse check moment of the division within our country. Because Carney's crowd had this reaction when the Liberal leader congratulated Poilievre on his campaign.
And I want to congratulate Ev on a hard-fought, fair, good campaign, his commitment to the country that we both love.
When Poilievre was in the same position, his crowd reacted like this.
I would like to congratulate Prime Minister Carney on leading this minority government. We'll have plenty of opportunity to debate and disagree.
And look, I am not saying there aren't rabid partisans that behave badly in both camps. And maybe it's easier to be nice towards your opponent after you're winning as opposed to when you're suffering a tough loss. But I do think this is a bit of a pulse check moment that is somewhat revealing about the overall trends within these parties. Anyways, there is lots of drama to come on the Conservative side of things, and I will be here to report on all of it for you. Let's turn to the NDP. Jagmeet Singh lost his seat in Burnaby and announced his intention to step down as NDP leader last night. It was an emotional moment, so here are a few clips from that.
Tonight, I've been informed our party leader that I'll be stepping down as party leader as soon as an interim leader can be appointed. Also, I might break down this part because, and Anhad and Dani, my daughters, remind me of the future. God damn it, that we are fighting for.
While the NDP did secure enough seats to hold the balance of power, they didn't get enough to retain official party status. For that, they would have needed 12 seats. And official party status is not just a nice title. When parties have that status, they get serious financial help, like funding for research groups. They also get more questions during question period and get to sit on parliamentary committees where a lot of important government work takes place. In losing party status yesterday, the NDP just lost all of that. So with less visibility, less power, and less money, it's going to be a long climb back for the party and whoever leads it next. As for the Bloc, they lost several seats in Quebec, and their party leader today was calling for, ironically, unity. That is your 2025 federal election result. And now it's time to watch the fallout. And I'll be here to report on it all, so stick around, I'll have another video for you tomorrow. Until then, what do you think of all this?